Hey Pawpaw Ridge, today we're going to talk about winter sowing of seeds. Today I'm going to show you the tips and tricks of making the best winter sowing jug you can make. So I think originally this winter sowing of seeds was started because they needed certain seeds to be cold stratified. Cold stratifying is when you need a seed that has to experience a certain amount of time in a certain temperature for it to be viable and actually germinate the next year. Pawpaws are one of those seeds. But what I think people found out, other seeds you could actually sow in this method and they germinate when it's time for them to actually germinate. The seeds that work the best are ones that are a little bit cold tolerant, like all your brassicas. But I found out in zone 8A that I can actually start tomatoes and peppers, even some of those warm summer crops, just like this too. Winter sowing actually works for most zones, and generally when everybody starts is this window between December towards closer to the end of December into January, but you could even start them in February as long as you're still getting those cold temperatures. What you want is something that's clear or translucent like this that you can sort of see through. You just don't want something that is opaque. The reason you want that is because eventually after you get to that freezing temps, when the sun does start to come out, you want something that sort of acts like a little greenhouse. I would definitely want you to use something that is a food container, not something that held laundry detergent or something like that. So you want something that's food safe. All right, let me show you how I make them. Let me tell you about all the tools you might need. What you want is a nice sharp razor knife. Either you can drill the holes that you're going to need, or you can use an awl or a punch to punch the holes. But what I've found works the best is a wood burning tip like that. So that works really well. Need something to mark. I use this wooden block because I've already measured where I want it. But really you're probably going to need a ruler, or you want to cut along where this line is, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And I use to secure it these inch deck screws. What you want is about 4 inches up where you're going to mark your line, and a lot of the jugs have a little line or indentation in it right there. But what I did was cut a wood block that was about 4 inches tall, and then my pen goes on top of it like that, and then all I do is and just spin the jug around, and then marks your line all the way so you have a nice consistent line like that. So where your handle is, you want to keep that plastic right there solid. You do not want to cut there. Then on the front, we're going to cut a line. Notice how this has kind of a dent on both sides. You don't want to mark the top in the very middle. You want to come to the side a little bit, about 1/4 inch and about 1/2 inch up like that. So now we have it all marked and we're ready to go, but don't cut it yet. Because if you keep the top on it and it's sealed like this, it gives resistance when you're going to go ahead and take the wood burner and make all the holes. So make all your holes first before you cut. I'm going to mark the holes that you're going to put in here. One is going to be right here, where that's going to be where your screw goes, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Then if you are in a freezing climate, because the bottom holes might freeze up, on each side about 1.5 inches up, you're going to want another hole there. And then finally, on the bottom, there's raised sections that you want to put one in each corner of those raised sections. And it's 10 of them on this type. And then I put one in the middle here and one there. We're getting ready to punch the holes, or we're getting ready to melt through the holes. So safety first. I have my trusty pink glasses because nobody will steal these. If you aren't outside, you would want to do this with a mask on because you are going to be burning through this. So when you use a razor knife, take and be super careful because you want to cut this, not yourself. I'm starting in this area so I remember to not cut that spot by the handle. Just punch it in carefully and just go slow. You're just following this line. It does not matter if it's perfect. Even though some of the vegetables, like onions, they'll cry about it. When you get close to this other end, go slow and just go to that line so you have a hinge like that. The last part is you cut this part about 1/2 inch up. Now I have everything cut. What you want to do is put this side inside like that, and so one side's outside, one side's inside, and now you swing it around so it's nice and tight. And this is when you want to now make the other hole so these two align. What I'm going to do now is so both these holes align and it's nice and tight together. So once you have this all pushed together, what you want to do is take your wood burner and you want to go in this hole so both those align, but make sure you don't go around. You just want to push it in and right back out. So a lot of people, the way they seal theirs is they use tape, duct tape, or some other type of tape. And I don't like that because once you try to pull that tape off, it's miserable. And I like using my containers at least 2 years in a row. So what I've developed is that you use a deck screw and you line them up, the two that you had. You line them up, the two that you had, and just screw it in. People worry about if that's secure enough. It definitely holds. Now what you do have to be aware of is that this doesn't have the seal of the tape, so you might have to water this a little bit more. But what I found out is that the water hits this and runs down inside, so it gets watered just as much, if not even more. So you just have to be aware of that. Okay, now we're ready to plant it up. You can use any type of potting soil. Make sure it's nice and moist first. So I'm going to plant some broccoli here, and some people will scatter it, but I like it a little bit more organized. So I will kind of make trails like this. And then I'll just lightly cover them up. Now what I want to do, you want to label your jugs, and this one happens to be number 7. And I use a grease pencil because I've found that lasts longer than anything. I'll do the other side also. Now, why do I do this? with numbers instead of what it is or a label inside or something like that. I like to use these jugs again. So next year, even though this year is broccoli, next year, this can be tomatoes. So I just can keep reusing them. But be careful because, and I've done this before, you'll forget what number 7 is until it pops up and hopefully you can recognize it. But what I do is I take my garden journal like this, which you'd like this garden journal because I made it. But I'll take that and I'll find a page, and I've already started this year, like that, my winter sowing page. And then before I forget, I'll take and write number 7. I'll say what type it is. Super important to have a journal when you're growing a garden because it will show you the next year what you should plant, what you shouldn't plant, what the pests were, how you handled them. If you record it, it'll tell you when the frost was, when it stopped, when it started. This is one of the most important things you can do for your garden is keep a journal, especially Pawpaw Ridge journal. When you get this, it's a monthly planning journal with your garden notes. You can plan out your beds, which is really important. You can write down things about the different things you're planting. You can also put about pests, what you use for it, what you spray, all different things that's super important about making the next year garden even more strong. If you'd like one of these, you can find it on PAWPAWRIDGE.com. People are always asking me, top on or top off? You always want the top off so it can breathe, and also that is where you're going to water it. You take a pump sprayer, spray right inside with the mist, good to go. You usually only need to do that about once a month. All I do is I take and I pick it up, do the weight test. If it still feels heavy, you don't need to water. It's only about once a month. The next step that you need to know is where are you going to put these? And people are like, oh, should I put it in my greenhouse? No. Oh, should I put it in the sun? No. You want it to experience the nature of what it goes through. You want it to be cold stratified. So what you do is you put it where it's not going to heat up like a greenhouse because you don't want it to prematurely germinate. This is Mother Nature's call of when this should germinate. So what you want to do is put this in somewhere that's not in direct sun. It could have a little bit of morning light. Notice mine is kind of under the trees here because you want Mother Nature to make the call and you want it to be the time it's supposed to sprout. And that's what this is all about. It makes its own timing and you don't have to worry about it. The other thing is, Mother Nature has taken care of the hardening process that is such a hard thing to do when you raise a seedling inside. If you take all those steps of cold stratification, this is what you will hope to see. If you notice, I did something called the snail method in this, and I'll do that in another video. At the end of the season, where do I store my jugs? I'll show you. I like this because it is nice and cool under there. There's no light, so you don't get breakdown. But before you put them away, you also want to wash them out with a 3% hydrogen peroxide solution so there's no disease left in it, so you're ready to use them for the next year. I generally get 2 years out of mine, and all I do is take, when I'm finished, throw them back there, hold the string right here, and I don't have to climb underneath. A lot of perks with winter sowing. If you got any questions, put it down in the comments. Have a great day. Hey, if you liked the video, check out some of these.